Beloved, welcome back to the homestead. I have been warning you guys for years now to get ready for the coming struggle. Well, I think we can safely say the coming struggle is here. So as we enter into Great Depression 2.0, this might be your home, especially if you're a Zoomer in the future. You might be living in a tent, either that or in your car. The cost of housing is out of reach. The cost of rental is becoming out of reach. And unless you want to live in a flop house or in the hood with the 14 roommates, then this might be something that you could look at. Get land, get land, get land is the order of the day, whatever you have to do. And don't cry to me, Zoomer, about how bad things are. I was raised Generation X. I'm the product of boomers. They threw us out into the world completely to raise ourselves completely wild and feral. I know what it's like. I've had to live in my car. I've had to live in a trap house in the hood. I know all about it. Now that I'm done with the kids these days rant, let's proceed with the install. Let's figure out where the best place is going to be to put this thing. In the official Warband clubhouse, of course, we heat with the wood stove, but it's nice to have something that you don't have to be here feeding. I lost my Alpha tent last year because the snow got so heavy it crushed it, and I wasn't able to get there in time to get it off. So having a diesel heater that's running in here during a snowstorm would, I think, prevent any snow from building up at all. The front door is to the north, and the northeast we have the wood stove, and we warm up around that and sit on the bench, so that's not really an option. This is the galley area, but it might make sense to have it over here, or maybe even at the farthest corner so we don't have to deal with the noise. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a modern home with all of the comforts that come with that, but I'll tell you, sometimes when my family's gone, if they're visiting my wife's parents, I come down here, I spend most of my time here. It's very different how we would live as men versus how we live when we have wives and children. I'm not saying one's better than the other, it's just that they influence us a lot. The west wall makes sense. I've got the EcoFlow there, which is going to power the unit, and I need access to the outside. We will also need to run the exhaust outside. We're going to have to make a penetration in the hole for the exhaust pipe, that little pipe that we modified. Whoop, and we're going to do that with a camp cup. The floor on the platform we built, you remember, is 1-inch tongue and groove plywood, and I've got that hot exhaust that's got to go through there, and I'm a little uncomfortable with having that access directly to that wood, which could be flammable. So I needed something with a flange, a pass-through, and I thought, what if we did a hole saw, cut this, modified this cup, dropped it in, drilled out the bottom, and we'd have a nice little clean collar and a metallic barrier between that and the wood. Let's take this enamel cup up to the shop and we'll get that modified and that handle trimmed off. Good morning, Mama. You kicking a flea? You don't have fleas. What I was thinking was we would take a hole saw and cut probably the biggest hole we could in this, and then it just dawned on me, this is ceramic, porcelain, hard as a Swede's head. That's going to immediately destroy my hole saw. So I'm wondering, what if we took a center point that has that really hard spring action that shatters glass? Will that break that coating up? I think we should do the inside as well. Goodness, can you imagine the toxic vapors I just released into my shop from this Chinese process? Yeah, holding it off the bench even works better. Now we're faced with the real problem. How does Proho find the center of a circle? Since I was publicly school educated, I don't have the abilities and the the preparation that one would need to be out in the world to figure out thorny things like this. Maths don't come easy to me. I've had to find workarounds. Let me show you how I find the center of a circle. Don't laugh. It kind of works. Actually, it works. Grab something that's about half the thickness of your circle. I usually try to keep this sort of thing secret. I'm sure there's a mathematical way to do this, but I don't know what that would be. If you just rotate, we're doing arts and crafts here. Just wait, it's worth it. Rotate your Sharpie. Is that writing on there? It's not a very good Sharpie, is it? Now you have the center. A set of hole saws is mandatory equipment for pro hoe. We'll go with the biggest one. A hole saw picks up where your drill bits, once your drill bits become too small for your holes. And do you see how they work? There's those pins in there. So you just open that up, thread it in, and then back it up until those pins lock in there, and then close this, jam that. You should have soft jaws for your vise, whether they be aluminum or copper or wood. I've got rubber on these, copper on the other ones if I want something a little bit firmer. It keeps you from marring the surface of what you're working on. We'll leave the handle on. We'll take that off last. It'll prevent it from spinning. Wouldn't be a bad idea to use a little bit of cutting fluid on that as well. Cutting fluid looks like oil, but it's not. Oil lubricates. You don't want to lubricate when you're cutting. You want it to assist in the... I think what it does is just keeps it cool. Oops. Well, that's just as good as any. Works pretty good. That'll be ideal. All right, let's take that handle off. There's our collar. Here's our muffler for our heater. That's going to run through like this through that plywood. And then I'm going to screw that heater to the floor so that can't move around. And once again, we attempt the impossible, to think of every possible tool we would need for a remote job. These Fisher-Price steps have wrecked me multiple times. Place your bets, gentlemen. Did I bring everything I'm going to need down here for this little project? How about a tape measure? So the only no-go we have, this is full dimension 2x on this rim joist here, so long as we stay this side of that, all of this will be open. So let's lay out where that exhaust goes. The exhaust comes out the front. Is it right there? So I put straight down from right there, the tip of my fingernail. We'll make that the center. I thought we might need an extra piece of exhaust pipe, but the one that came with it seems to be just about the perfect size. That exhaust pipe is going right through the center with quite a bit of airspace around it. So what I'm going to do is, it's got 4 holes in it. We've got screws, and we'll screw it right to the floor. That way it won't move at all and come up against that. I need some sort of a spacer that I can get that exhaust down off of that rim joist. So maybe that's too long. Well, gentlemen, this is a first for me. A tent with an exhaust pipe and a muffler. I have enough room to get my drill in there. Oh, M12 for the win. You see, bigger is not always better. East Coast man is right. I pulled this off so you can kind of see what's going on. So once that's mounted right in the center, there's dead air space. Now, could exhaust gas come up through here? Yeah, it could. You could extend this pipe another 5 or 6 feet. Now, would I sleep in here with this Chinese heater running? Not in your life. The heater did come with a small diffuser. This will give us the ability to move the air kind of into the middle of the tent rather than just blowing down along the side. I'm going to keep it short, I guess. Shout out to our HVAC brothers that are critiquing my ductwork right now. For power, you need 12 volt for these guys. I'm going to use my EcoFlow. Now this could be run off a solar panel. I am so dumb. I just bumped the connection and shut it down. Oh. Oh. Well, we let the smoke out. I just nuked it because I'm an idiot. You're not going to believe what I did. You can see all of that nasty, acrid Chinese smoke that's been let out as the circuit board of the computer melted down. Here's what I did. Was I not just telling you the importance of putting an inline fuse? Well, so I ordered the plug for this right here, these Andersons. This red and black here, they're going to be here, in a few days. So I thought, well, I'll just put these alligator clips on here like this, right? Well, you'll notice that these are quite close. When I moved, I brushed my hand across that, made contact, and shorted out the circuit and burn out the heater. Look at that, gentlemen. Danger is my middle name. Oh no, that's so sad. Oh no, it came on. Where did all that smoke come from? Should we go for it? Oh, let's turn it on. Let's see what happens. Will she chooch? Okay. It's running. Where did all that smoke come from? Those Chinese, bless them, they must have had some sort of internal circuit protection there to protect it from Proho. All right, brothers, she is at full chooch. Shout out to our brother in Christ, AVE, one of the best channels on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, go on over there. He's actually a guy that knows how to do this sort of thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this thing run, and we're gonna close up the tent tight. I've got a thermometer, an indoor-outdoor, that we'll put up here, and we'll see how quickly or how warm it gets within the first hour. Check this out. I found this old school thermometer at my local Ma and Pa hardware store. We have a really good local hardware store. I'm so over those electronic ones. They're wireless, they're handy, but they're always dead. You're always searching for a battery. So this has got a probe that we can run that outside, so we have indoor and outdoor. The mounting system is not going to work out super good for a tent, so let's go up to the shop and we'll get something to put across here so that we can mount it to a pole. I think all we need to do is just to put something on the back that we can get a couple zip ties around. I'll use this paint stick and some super glue. Well, trauma shears cut paint stick. I bet they will. You can cut a penny with these. Trauma shears will cut a penny. They cut through about anything. Not too shabby. Now your super glues, if you get into, there's more than one. Our friends over at Mercury Adhesives. Thin flex, medium flex. Is it going to move? It all makes a difference. Thick gap filling, man. I'll go with the good stuff here. Accelerant makes it set up a lot quicker. Grab a couple zip ties and we are good to go. The cutters, the God hand. Is our heater still running? I hear it. Tell me that doesn't give you the fizz, gentlemen. All right, let's go install our thermostat. These indoor-outdoor thermometers have a probe on this copper wire. You run that outside. So we'll put this over here in the corner. This is pretty much the opposite side of the tent from the furnace. There's quite a bit of lead on that probe. We can run that clear out here, probably 3 feet or so, and then we'll get an accurate outside temperature. It'd be actually going to be nice to have a indoor-outdoor thermometer down here. I always wonder. I like to know what the temperature is. All right, gentlemen, I think we're ready. I've got all the windows open. The heater is running on full. Let's shut everything down. Actually, let's check our temperature. Even with everything open, we're still warmer in here. We're at 50 degrees inside, 42. Let's shut it down and we'll come back in an hour. I'm not going to do the storm flaps outside. That would even give us more insulation. All right, gentlemen, I'll see you back in an hour.